Tonight on DC News Now at 5.
The government shutdown could soon impact where and when you travel. The warning from the Department of Transportation tonight.
SNAP benefits were set to be partially funded today, but some families say they were shocked when they saw their benefits amount, why they say it's nowhere near enough.
Bridging the gap between what used to and what will stand over Baltimore's Patapsco River.
We are moving at breakneck speed on delivering this project.
An update on building the new Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Then, windy conditions continue through tonight. Meteorologist David Matson will join us with more on when things will calm down.
And an historic win in Virginia. The first female governor elected. We break down the significance this has in today's Women's Wednesday.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
The federal government has set a historic record. Today is officially the longest shutdown in history. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Mark Hall.
Hey, good evening. I'm Annalisa Gale. As we enter day 36 of this shutdown, federal workers continue to miss paychecks and SNAP benefits, which have been partially funded.
Taking a live look at Capitol Hill tonight, where lawmakers still haven't reached a deal. The impact is growing. SNAP recipients are now feeling the pinch after the Trump administration announced Monday that the program will only be partially funded this month. Meanwhile, airports across the country are feeling the strain as air traffic controllers and TSA agents continue working without pay, with many calling out sick, causing for some airports to see several-hour delays and some even closing.
Yeah, we have team coverage tonight. DC News Now's Basil John is breaking down what this historic milestone means. And ahead, DC News Now's Randy Bass will have more on how Prince George's County is helping furloughed workers. And DC News Now's Liberty Simmons is breaking down SNAP benefits and how this is impacting one resident here in the DMV.
But first, let's turn to our Mariel Carbone. The shutdown is also leading to impacts at airports, and the FAA says that it will reduce air traffic by 10% starting this Friday.
Yeah, Mark, we aren't seeing any of the chaos yet that will ensue likely from that. Passengers here at DCA say things are moving smoothly today, but again, we know that is not the case everywhere. And Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is saying that if workers don't start getting paid soon and showing up to work, that he could have to close some of the airspace. At Reagan National Airport, travelers are showing up prepared.
We always have a 3-hour window when we travel.
At scenes like this one in Houston, hours-long TSA lines due to agents calling out, play out across the country.
You read everything every day and listen to the news, and it does sound like it's going to be a bit chaotic.
You will see mass flight delays. You'll see mass cancellations. And
this week, DOT Secretary Sean Duffy warning he may have to close some airspace next week if the government shutdown continues. This as air traffic controllers who are working without pay also call out. Both controllers and TSA agents are set to miss a second full paycheck Tuesday. The shutdown officially the longest in history.
With this shutdown, it would be dishonest to say that more risk is not injected into the system. There is more risk in the system.
One of my cousins was telling me, for instance, when he got there, they had to change different gates like 5 times, you know, and that was really frustrating. Because
Roger Montu, who was flying to Dallas, made sure to show up early.
Usually they say 2 hours before, so I'm trying to give myself like enough time. I'm doubling that, trying to get like maybe 3 or 4 hours before.
As a furloughed federal worker himself, he has a request for his fellow travelers.
Just trust those guys who are going out of their way to make sure that we travel safe and to keep cool, because the whole country, the entire country is going through this.
And again, we can expect to start seeing impacts Friday morning. That is when the FAA is going to reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 markets. It's unclear exactly which cities and which airports that will impact at this moment. Reporting live from Reagan National, I'm Mariel Carbone, DC News Now.
Mariel, thank you. Well, the White House says that SNAP benefits will be partially funded as the government shutdown continues. And while it's unclear when families will receive the funds, one woman says the payments are too little to survive on. DC News Now's Liberty Simmons is in Fairfax County with more from the mom worried about how she will make ends meet.
The Trump administration said it would partially fund SNAP benefits, but said that the recalculations could cause significant delays. And some families tell us so far the recalculations just don't add up.
You know, I got to feed my son breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and most of my money goes towards bills, so I count with those stamps.
Rosa Fabian and her son with autism depend on SNAP benefits to buy groceries and keep food on the table. She typically receives $500 a month, but when she checked her EBT balance today, she only received $60.
$60 is nothing, and then the economy, everything is going up high.
She doesn't know if it came from SNAP or the Virginia Emergency Nutrition Assistance Program launched by the governor. She says either way, it won't go far.
It's hard for us to survive. Like, we count on those food stamps. Like, there's no other way around it, especially when you're a single mom.
Her neighbor, Deborah Kelton, also depends on SNAP. She said her balance was $23.
I think that's pitiful.
We got people higher ups are getting paid by the government for this, that, or the other, and we can't even get money to eat off of.
She and Rosa have been turning to food banks and charities to stay afloat.
If it were not for some of the churches, I don't know, I guess I'd just be in my little apartment right here just starving.
We reached out to USDA, and an automated email blamed Democrats, saying the delays could have been avoided had they passed the continuing resolution to fund the government. For now, in Springfield, Virginia, Liberty Simmons, DC News Now.
Liberty, thank you, and for continuing coverage on resources available and to see how local officials are responding, you can head to our website right now, dcnewsnow.com.
And DC News Now is your local election headquarters. It was certainly a big night for Democrats in Virginia. All three top jobs turning blue.
Yeah, DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live in studio to break down the races. And Daniel, several firsts here.
Absolutely, Annalisa and Mark. A couple firsts here. The governor will now be, of course, Abigail Spanberger, the first female governor in Virginia's history, and Lieutenant Governor-elect Ghazala Hashmi is the first Muslim woman to win a statewide race in the U.S. Political experts say the Democratic turnout last night could translate across the country. In the midst of a government shutdown and in a year where thousands of Virginians lost their federal jobs, voters sent a strong message against Republican policies on Tuesday.
I've been using the word bloodbath. It's just been terrible news for the Republicans, just a resounding victory for the Democrats.
At the top of the ticket, Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger.
You all chose leadership that will focus relentlessly on what matters most. Lowering costs, keeping our communities safe, and strengthening our economy for every Virginian.
Spanberger won by more than 14 points, and Lieutenant Governor-elect Ghazala Hashmi by more than 10 points.
I feel amazing. It's a tremendous honor, and it's still sinking in that we had such remarkable success here in Virginia.
The government shutdown, lapses in SNAP benefits, and rising health care costs are top of mind for Hashmi and Spanberger.
We are working to respond to that potential crisis, to respond at a state level, to do what the federal government is simply not doing.
To that end, Randolph-Macon College political science professor Rich Marr says the election sends a message across the Potomac.
At least here in Virginia, the shutdown was really pinned on Donald Trump and the Republicans, that the Democrats were really kind of held harmless by voters. But partially that was framed by the DOGE cuts that had happened earlier in the year.
Governor Glenn Youngkin offered congratulations and advice Wednesday.
Whether it's Governor-elect Spanberger or 10 governors from now, we must continue to drive economic prosperity through job creation.
Some were surprised by Jay Jones's victory for Attorney General because of the violent text he sent several years ago. Professor Marr says his pushback on President Trump was clearly a winning argument compared to his opponent. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you.
Let's head over to meteorologist Damon Madsen with the first look at our forecast. Damon, one of my more memorable Wednesdays in quite some time.
The warm temperatures helped out a lot, huh? Yeah. The warmth was one highlight of the day, but there's another word that begins with a W that also highlighted things. Windy. And that's part of the reason why our temperatures spiked into the 70s. Those winds coming out of the south, amplifying that warm air. But as we head into the night tonight, we're about to see stronger wind gusts and then eventually a burst of chilly air behind a cold front that will be swinging through. Now, for the time being, those wind gusts have backed off a little bit, but we're still seeing gusts around 20 miles an hour across much of northern Virginia, north central southern Maryland, and into the district. But if you look out toward the higher terrain, that dark shade of red, those are some stronger gusts that have been at times approaching 40, even 45 miles per hour. And that is exactly why wind advisories remain in effect until the middle of the night tonight out across the highest terrain of the Allegheny Front, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, we don't have advisories over toward the district because gusts will not be approaching 45 to 50 miles per hour, but they still could hit 35, 40 miles per hour, despite the fact that we are going to have those slightly calmer conditions to the east. So there you go. As we head into the evening time, whatever clouds are out there, they will break up. The wind will intensify, though, helping to usher out the clouds, dropping our temperatures, and you'll hear that wind howling out there tonight. But will things calm back down as we head into the day on Thursday? And as we do head toward the end of the week, will there be cooler temperatures on tap? We'll have another full look at your forecast here coming up in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Busy day for D.C. leaders in the Southeast. They hosted a scissors and shovels event.
Yeah, leaders opened an animal shelter at D.C. Village and broke ground as well on the D.C. Fire and office of the State Superintendent Fleet Maintenance Campus there. The new animal shelter will serve as a city central hub for adoptions along with animal control services. It's the first district-owned animal shelter and hospital. Meantime, the D.C. Fire and OSSI campus will include multiple buildings and fueling stations to improve service, delivery, and efficiency, we're told.
Created more than a facility here. We've built a modern, welcoming space that will serve DC residents for decades to come.
Today's groundbreaking is another example of effective partnership in our city.
There's no specific timeline on when the joint campus will be completed.